afternoon and welcome to the lunchtime news on MTV Sports. I'm Shanali De Silva. At least 80 people have been killed by flash floods that have struck Afghanistan and Pakistan following torrential downpours. We have a comprehensive report coming up on the Newsfirst international desk. But first, let's take a look at your stories that make headlines this afternoon. The Foreign Employment Services Bureau requests Sri Lankan illegal migrants in Saudi Arabia to return home within the amnesty period. Death numbers for the upcoming provincial council polls to be issued from today. Flash floods that claim the lives of at least 80 in Afghanistan and Pakistan. And now for those news in detail. The Foreign Employment Services Bureau has requested Sri Lankan illegal migrants in Saudi Arabia to return to the island within the amnesty period that has been granted.
The amnesty period is to end on the 3rd of November. General Manager of the Foreign Employment Services Bureau, Mangal Randhaniya, noted that those who fail to return to the island before the amnesty period will be fined by the Saudi government. Nearly 7,000 illegal immigrants who were languishing in Saudi Arabia have been repatriated to the island during the amnesty period thus far. Mangal Randhaniya further noted that a special program had been implemented by the Sri Lanka Embassy in Saudi Arabia to repatriate the illegal immigrants.
Several Newsfirst reporters sent in footage of flooding that was caused in various parts of the island following heavy rains that were experienced yesterday.
The Vagola Bridge on the Mavanella-Hematagama main road was inundated by floodwaters yesterday. Newsfirst reporter Saman Vijay said vehicular traffic on the road had to be halted for close to 3 hours as a result. Area residents say that although the bridge is inundated even after minor showers, authorities have not taken steps to rectify the matter. Several areas in Kuruvita were inundated due to heavy rains. Traffic along the Gorakhella main road in Kuruvita has come to a standstill, and the road which was covered a few months ago has now sustained damages.
Mama Newsfirst reporter වෙනුවෙන් Kuruvita Vasantha Ekanayaka.
Several main roads in Kuruvita are inundated due to the inclement weather conditions. Traffic has also been halted in these areas. Flood warnings have also been issued for the Teppanava area in Gonapitiya.
Mama Newsfirst report Ilum Taranga.
In more local news, 5 people have been killed in motor accidents that occurred in Tangol and Koskama. The police say that 3 persons were killed in the accident that occurred in Pahajawala, Tangol last evening. The accident occurred when an SLTB bus collided with a 3-wheeler. Meanwhile, 2 women were killed on another motor accident that took place in the Suduella area in Koskama on the Colombo-Avisawella main road. Our reporter says that another person who was injured in the accident has been admitted to the National Hospital in Colombo.
Both victims were resident of the Ihalabomiria in Kaduvela. The accident occurred at about 9 last night when a van overtaking a bus on the road had collided with an oncoming 3-wheeler. The police say the driver of the van who was arrested had been under the influence of alcohol. The remains of the 2 women are currently lying at the Avisawella base hospital.
Bandula Gunawardena, the Minister of Education, says he expects that there will be major changes in the Pirivena education system next year. The Minister made these remarks at an event held in Mattegoda yesterday.
The foundation stone for a new 2-story building of the Anagarika Dhamma School at the Sri Priyarathanarama Vihara in Mattegoda was laid yesterday under the auspices of Minister Bandula Gunawardena. We have commenced discussions centering around the Vidyodaya and Vidyalankara Pirivenas. The chief prelates, heads of Pirivenas and members of the Mahasangha are preparing a plan that will be submitted to us within the year regarding changes that needs to be made to the Pirivena education system to ensure the continuity of the Sasana from generation to generation and to ensure that monks who are produced by these Pirivenas have the right understanding. His Excellency the President also hopes to make the necessary allocations through the next budget to initiate change in Pirivena education.
The election secretariat says that the issuing of candidate numbers for the upcoming provincial council polls will commence today. Speaking to Newsfirst, Deputy Elections Commissioner M.M. Mohammed made further clarifications.
Following the expiration for the submission of nominations on the 1st of August, the district election officers have prepared the lists of candidates in alphabetical order in the Sinhala alphabet. These lists are now being inspected by a review board at the election secretariat and will be submitted today for the personal approval of the elections commissioner. Subsequently, the district election officers will submit the numbers of the individual candidates from political parties and independent groups.
The Medical Research Institute is taking measures to conduct research on the dengue outbreak through the use of nanotechnology. The director of the institute, Dr. Anil Samaranayaka, said that through this research, one would be able to attain better understanding about dengue.
Through the use of nanotechnology, we would be able to attain a better understanding as to what type of virus dengue is. We can also identify the form of the virus in a much advanced technological method.
And the winner, ladies and gentlemen, let's recognize and honor Dr. Sidnayate Vananda. Ladies and gentlemen, the volunteer of the year.
Who is next? Be Awards 2013. Come soon.
In international news, eastern Afghanistan and neighboring Pakistan have been hit by torrential rains causing floods which have killed at least 80 people.
Officials said 34 died in the Sarobi district alone, around 65 kilometers east of Afghan capital Kabul. Pakistan's biggest city Karachi was also badly affected, with at least 16 killed after days of flooding. The region has suffered devastating floods during the monsoon period for the past 3 years. Afghan officials said that emergency teams and supplies were being dispatched to affected areas. Ghulam Farooq, the head of emergency operations for Afghanistan's National Disaster Management Authority, told the AFP news agency that hundreds have been displaced in eastern areas of Afghanistan and hundreds of hectares of farmland destroyed. The floods have caused extensive damage to property in both countries. The Pakistani army was called in to help the clean-up in Karachi, where local media reports say sewage and rainwater have blocked some of the main roads. The fatalities in the city have been mostly due to electrocution or collapsing roofs and walls. The floods are also reported to have left many areas of the city without power. In Pakistan's northwestern Khyber province, many houses were swept away by the torrent. Pakistan disaster response officials have warned that more rain may be on the way over the coming days. In 2010, Pakistan was hit by the worst monsoon floods in 80 years. Almost 1,800 people were killed and 20 million people affected.
In more international news, Tunisian police say they have shot a suspected Islamist militant and arrested at least 4 others in a dawn raid in the capital, Tunis.
The news comes after days of pro- and anti-Islamist government protests. Opponents of the ruling Islamist Ennahda party wants the government to step down after second opposition figure was assassinated this year. The Interior Ministry said Sunday's dawn raid had targeted a house in a southern Tunis suburb where Islamist militants were allegedly hiding weapons. The ministry said in a statement that one of the suspects died in exchange of fire. Larayed also announced police had made an arrest in the murder of Chokri Balade, but he did not provide further details. The government has blamed Salafist hardliners for both opposition killings, which were reportedly carried out with the same gun. The Prime Minister added that Islamist militants hiding near the Algerian border should surrender. Opposition groups have accused the government of not doing enough to tackle Islamist attacks and have been holding protests outside the Constituent Assembly in Tunis. Meanwhile, Ennahda allies have been staged mass rallies to defend the ruling party's legitimacy. Tunisia is the birthplace of the Arab Spring, but it has been in turmoil since the overthrow of long-serving ruler President Zine al-Abidine Ben Ali in 2011. But Laroyed has vowed the government will fulfill its mandate and hold elections in December.
In sports news, Australia's Sam Stosur won her first title in nearly 2 years when she overpowered world number 1 Victoria Azarenka 6-3, 6-2 to win the Carlsbad, California Open.
In registering her first victory over the Belarusian in 9 attempts, Stosur played an opportunistic and clutch contest, fighting off 11 of 12 break points while breaking Azarenka in every game she had the chance to do so. The 5th-seeded Stosur had come close to defeating Azarenka in their last 2 meetings at the 2012 US Open and 2013 in Rome, but she hadn't been able to contend with her foe's vicious returning and superior movement. But the Azarenka that faced Stosur in Carlsbad was just coming off knee and hip injuries she suffered at Wimbledon and appeared to be a little slow to the ball and inaccurate off the ground. Stosur broke Azarenka in her first service game to go up 2-love, but then was broken straight back when the 2 times Australian Open champion ripped a backhand down the line. But Azarenka handed the break right back by committing 3 straight errors to go down 3-1, and after Stosur was able to hold in the next game to 4-1 by fighting off 5 break points with a series of hard serves, she gained control of the contest and went on to register a famous win.
California Open Champions Trophy. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Sam Stosur.
Jamaican sprinter Usain Bolt arrived in Moscow determined to win gold at the IAAF World Championships and prove to the world that he is still a champion.
Usain Bolt spoke to reporters after performing a set with DJs at a Jamaican-themed party in the Puma Yard in the capital's Gorky Park. American Tyson Gay and Jamaica's ex-100 meters world record holder Asafa Powell dropped out of the competition after positive drug tests. Reigning 100 meters champion Johan Blake will not compete due to injury. The world's fastest man Bolt said despite the absence of some other big-name sprinters at the competition, he was still preparing for a solid performance at the Worlds.
For me, I'm really motivated to go out there and show the world that even without nobody's there, I can still win. So I'm focused and I'm ready to go. I never predict times because you never know, it might just be like this, overcast and slightly chilly, or it might just be warm. You never know what can happen. So that's my focus and that's what I'm going out there to do and to prove to the world that I am still a champion.
A day after defeating Everton in the International Champions Cup, Cristiano Ronaldo remains silent on his plans for his future, whether it means staying with Real Madrid or moving to another team.
Well, I'm not going to confirm nothing. I just do my job like I always did all the year. My future, I don't know. In this moment, I'm player of Madrid. In the future, I really don't know. Let's see what's gonna happen. But at the moment, I'm good where I am.
And that concludes your lunchtime news for today. I'm Shonali De Silva for Newsfirst. Have a pleasant day.